何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそう。さあ何を入れよう。どれがいい。これで。さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。どうしよう。どれを使おうかな。これで全部消えちゃえ。これだけあれば足りるかな。どうしようかな。どれだけ。これで何個作る。これでどうだ。うまくいくかな。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。どうしようかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。さあうわいいか。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。どれにしよう。これで。さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。どこにしよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいい。うわいい感じ。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい。さあ何を入れよう。どれがいいか。これでうまくいくかな。やったできた。よーし、どの材料がいいかな。これで全部消えちゃえ。よーしできた。どうしようかな。どれだけ作ろうか。これでどうだ。何個作ろう。どれだけ作ろうかな。これでどうだ。うまくいくかな。やったできた。どうしようかな。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れ。うわいい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。うわいい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。どれにしようかな。これ。さあどうだ。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。どうしようかな。本当にこれでいいか考えないとね。何個作ろう。これでどうだ。うまくいくかな。やったできた。どうしようかな。どこにしよう。さあ何を。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい感じか。さあ何を入れよう。うわいい感じか。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい感じ。さあ何を入れよう。新しいものができちゃいそう。どれにしようかな。これでいいかな。これでいいかな。これで。さあどうだ。やったできた。なんか上達してきた気がする。どうしようかな。どれだけつく。これでいいかな。うまくいくかな。悪くないんじゃないかな。どうしようかな。どこにしよう。さあ うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。何をしようか悩ん。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じ。さあ何を入れよう。どうしようかな。どうしようかな。どうしようかな。何個作ろう。これでどうだ。さあどうだ。やった、できた。どうしようか。何作っちゃおうかな。何を入れるのがいい。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。どれがいいかな。これで。さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。どこ。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じ。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。新しいものができちゃいそう。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。どれにしようかな。これでいいか。うまくいくかな。やった、できた。どこにしよう。どこにしよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。さあ何を入れよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。ちゃんと考えないとね。さあ何を入れよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。どうしようかな。どれだけ作ろうかな。これでどうだ。さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。何作っちゃおうかな。さあ何を入れよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうだ。さあ何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。 何を入れるのがいいかな。さあ何を入れ、いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。ちゃんと考えないとね。次はどうしよっかな。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。さあ何を入れよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。どれがいいかな。これでいいかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい、どれがいいかな。これでどうだ。さあどうだ。やったできた。どうしようかな。何個作ろう。これでどうだ。うまくいくかな。できたバッチリ。どうしようかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。さあいいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい感じかも。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。次はどうしよっかな。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。次はどうしよっかな。ちゃんと考えないとね。次はどうしよっかな。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。次はどうしよっかな。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。ちゃんと考えないとね。 はどうしよっかな。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。次はどうしよっかな。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。ちゃんと考えないとね。ちゃんと考えないとね。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。次はどうしよっかな。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。ちゃんと考えないとね。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。ちゃんと考えないとね。次はどうしよっかな。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。何を入れるのがいいかな。とりあえず何を入れるのがいいかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。わっ、何かが変わりそう。ちゃんと考えないとね。次はどうしよっかな。次はどうしよっかな。どれにしようかな。これでいいかな。さあどうだ。やった、できた。どこに何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。どれにしようか。これでいいか。うまくいくかな。できた、バッチリ。どこに入れようかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。 いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。うわいい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。わっ何かが変わりそう。どれがいいかな。これでどうだ。うまくいくかな。できたバッチリ。なんか上達してきた気がする。どこに。さあ何を入れ。うわいい感じかも。どこに。さあ何を入れ。うわいい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうなよ。さあ何を入れよう。新しいものができちゃいそう。どれにしようかな。これ。さあどうだ。できたバッチリ。どうしようかな。どれだけ作ろう。これでどうだ。さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。何個作ろう。これでどうだ。うまくいくかな。やったできた。どうしようかな。さあ何を入れ。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。うわいい感じかも。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。さあ何を入れよう。わっ何かが変わりそう。何を入れるのがいいか。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。新しいものができちゃいそう。さあ何を入れよう。どれにしようかな。さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。どうしようかな。何個作ろう。これでいいかな。さあどうだ。できたバッチリ。どうしようかな。どこに入れよう。さあ何を入れよう。さあ何を。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい感じかも。どれに。これうまくいくかな。じゃーんこんな感じかな。どこにし。さあ何。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。わっ何かが変わりそう。何をしようか悩んじゃうな。 にしようかな。どれがいいかな。これでうまくいくかな。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。どこに、さあ何を入れ、うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。さあ何を入れよう。新しいものができちゃいそう。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。新しいものができちゃいそう。さあ何を入れ、いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。わっ、何かが変わりそう。何を入れるのがいいか。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。わっ、何かが変わりそう。どれがいいかな。これでいいかな。うまくいくかな。やった、できた。少しは成長できたみたい。どこにし、何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。どれにしよう。これでうまくいくかな。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。どこに、さあ何を、いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。どれにしようかな。これでうまくいくかな。やった、できた。どこにし、何を入れるのがいいか。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。どれがいいかな。これでうまくいくかな。悪くないんじゃないかな。どこ、さあ何を、いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。どれに、これで、さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。どれにしよう。これでうまくいくかな。やった、できた。どこ、さあ何を、いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じ。どれにしようか。これでうまくいくかな。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。どこ、さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。どれがいいか。これでうまくいくかな。悪くないんじゃないかな。少しは成長できたみたい。 どうしようかな。何個作ろう。これでどうだ。さあどうだ。やった、できた。どうしようかな。どこ。さあなんと、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。次はどうしよっかな。とりあえずなんか入れちゃうか。次はどうしよっかな。どこに行くの？どれを使おうかな。見つけた調合法試してみようかな。秘密の調合法だよ。すごいのできるかも。よし完成。いくぞ。
気をつけて進むぞ。
よし、あった。よし、あった。よし、あった。どうしようかな。何を入れるのか。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じ。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じ。何を入れるのがいいかな。さあ何を入れよう。いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうだ。さあ何を入れよう。新しいものができちゃいそう。どれがいいかな。これでいいかな。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。 何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。どれにしようかな。これでうまくいくかな。悪くないんじゃないかな。どこさあ、何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。どこにしよう。さあ、何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。わっ、何かが変わりそう。ちゃんと考えないとね。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。どれにしよう。これでいいかな。うまくいくかな。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。どこさあ、何。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ、何を。いいものできそうな予感。さあ、何を入れよう。わっ、何かが変わりそう。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。どこに何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ、何を入れよう。わっ、何かが変わりそう。さあ、何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ、何を入れよう。どれを使おうかな。見つけた調合法、試してみようかな。すごいのできるかも。よし、完成。いくぞー。
こうしてみんなと外に出るの楽しいわ。いろんな糸があるのね。私、糸って絹とかからしか作れないんだと思ってた。
くっそ、絡まっちまった。切るわけにもいかねえし。ライザー、助けてくれ。
どうしようかな。どこに入れようかな。さあ、何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じ。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。何を入れるのがいいかな。新しいものができちゃいそう。 どれがいいかな。これでいいか。さあどうだ。やった、できた。どこに。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れるのがいいかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。新しいものができちゃいそう。どれにしようかな。これうまくいくかな。やった、できた。どこ。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。どれが。これで。さあどうだ。できた、バッチリ。どこに入れようかな。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。いいものでき。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じ。さあ何を入れよう。わ、何かが変わりそう。どれがいい。これうまくいくかな。悪くないんじゃないかな。どこにしよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。どれ。これで。さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。どうしようかな。本当にこれでいいか考えないとね。どれだけ。これでいい。どれだけ作ろうかな。これでいいかな。さあどうだ。やった、できた。どうしようかな。どれを使おう。何作っちゃおうかな。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。どうしようかな。何個作る。これでいいかな。うまくいくかな。やった、できた。何作っちゃおうかな。どこ。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。さあ何を入れよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。何を入れるのがいいかな。新しいものができちゃいそう。どれがいい。これでうまくいくかな。やった、できた。なんか上達してきた気がする。どこにしよう。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのがいいかな。さあ何を入れよう。うわ、いい感じかも。どれがいいか。これうまくいくかな。できた、バッチリ。どこにしよう。 さあ何をいいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのか。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。どうしようかな。本当にこれでいいか考えないとね。どれだけ作ろう。これでどうだ。さあどうだ。やった、できた。何しようかな。何しようかな。何しようかな。何しようかな。何しようかな。何しようかな。何か新しいことないかな。何か新しいことないかな。何しようか かな。
Thank you. Carl,
Hi, I'm Carl Kaiser. I'm a faculty at Texas A&M Galveston.
何しようか
I'm
な。
a chemical oceanographer focused on organic carbon cycling. So that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years, working in the Arctic. So actually, I've worked on both poles and in the open ocean to look at the chemical composition of organic matter.
Carl, no bragging, please.
No, it's pole to
新しい
pole.
ことないかな。
But really looking at fundamental things like what is the chemistry of the carbon. So obviously as a chemist I focus on chemical composition and try to relate it to the exchange of carbon reservoirs. So exchange
何
of
か新しいことないか
the
な。
dissolved form to the gaseous form. So that's kind of what I've been doing mostly. But with Tom Lenton here at Galveston, I got drawn into the Sargassum world a little bit. And so as Tom retired, I took over the forecasting system that they have put together. And so that's kind of the connection to the Caribbean, I would say. Otherwise, I'm more in the open ocean. But looking
Thank you.
forward to our discussions.
thank you, Carl. Brigitte.
I'm a seagrass ecologist, and I'm working in the Mexican Caribbean in a small station of the Marine Science Institute of the National University of Mexico. And I basically got drawn into sargassum because sargassum was killing my poor seagrasses. So, and now basically I'm studying sargassum more than I'm studying the seagrasses. But it's basically the ecology and the impact on the environment.
Thank you, Brigitte. Pedro.
Thank you, Enrique. Hi, I'm Pedro Arcelus. I'm head of postgraduate studies in engineering science at Universidad Iberoamericana, Mexico City. I'm a chemical engineer by background, and my research is mainly focused on the thermochemical processing of biomass, organic residues, or conventional resources to find value-added products out of it. So, looking forward for good results from this meeting, and yeah, let's see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro. Nicolas.
Second, please.
You're in mute.
Yes. Just a second.
So we can continue with Lorena.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, with Lorena. I see a cat. I can't see Lorena. So
Can you
then
hear me
let's go
now?
to Gregorio.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
Gregorio, please.
I am Gregorio. I am a postdoctoral student at the University Iberoamerican University, and we are interested in the valorization and to get a very several products from sargassum, from the Mexican Caribbean. Thank you.
Thank you, Gregorio. Nicolas, now you're unmuted.
Hi, sorry about that. So my name is Nicolas Morales. I have a chemical engineering background as well. I'm currently having a position as a postdoctoral researcher in Universidad Iberoamericana, and I'm mainly been studied for the past 10 years catalyst synthesis and applications. So currently what we're trying to study is advanced catalyst synthesis to modify and study sargassum processing. So, well, hopefully that we can get some good information from this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolas. Karina.
Hi, I'm Karina Maldonado, and I'm working only in the part of isolation of microorganisms in the sargassum. Okay. I'm also in Universidad Iberoamericana. And I think that's all.
Thank you.
Well,
You're missing Eduardo. Eduardo Cuevas.
Hola, buenas tardes. Perdón el retraso. Hi, this is Eduardo Cueva. I'm from, well, let me turn on the camera, sorry. And this is Eduardo Cuevas. I'm from Mexico, in Universidad del Carmen, Autónoma del Carmen. Together with Abigail, we are working on remote sensing for monitoring sargassum and analyzing time series of Landsat images and another very high resolution images for detecting sargassum close to shore. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you, Eduardo. And Lorena, please.
Thanks. I'm Lorena Pedraza. I am from Universidad Iberoamericana, and we are working on biorefinery from lignocellulosic biomass and sargassum. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, we should start so that Porfirio was going to moderate first the first table, but I can go with the questions. So our first table, we will invite Carl and Eduardo to respond some questions we have for the first table. Abigail was part of it, but Abigail reported she has a health problem. I hope not a big one. So the questions we have for starting this first panel is first for Eduardo and Carl, your experience and prediction models to attend sargassum. And which other models do you know besides the ones that you have in your experience? And the third one, and sorry, before starting to the first table, sorry, I will give a very brief background. So we could all think on the same question that we are seeking on this. So first, we know that sargassum in oceanic waters, it's a very important ecosystem, but while landing in coastal areas, it could be a problem for coastal ecosystems and for people. In general, in most of the countries, when sargassum is affecting wealthy areas, cities or resorts, these industries had developed ways for attending. But when sargassum is affecting seagrasses, corals, mangroves, and places with coastal communities, fishing communities that cannot pay for the big resources that the resorts can do, we're having a problem of having vulnerable ecosystems that have been not attended, and also fragile ecosystems that have been attended and vulnerable communities. So that's something that we care about, and part of this seminars is learning the things that have been happening around the world in using the sargassum, detecting the sargassum, in the ways it is affecting, and then how to bring this knowledge to those areas that have been lessened. So the idea is organizing it in three tables. The first one is knowing the part of sargassum influence prediction, what we know about the sargassum. The second one will be about the impact on these community. And the third table is how can we support communities. And this third table will have like two different ways of approaching. One that it's the experiences for using sargassum in communities in the new area. And the other, how to start thinking about how to use the knowledge we have in our area to support these communities. And the last table is a closed session in which the idea is that each one of us about participating in this table could have a couple of minutes just for mentioning in our minds what the to support these, protect these fragile ecosystems. So in this first table, we will have Carl and Eduardo with the questions I was mentioning. What do you know, or what are you doing in remote sensing or detection of sargassum? What other models you know about it? And what is your idea, and how can we develop low-budget models that could be applied for protecting these vulnerable communities? And what are the research needs for developing these low-budget models? And at the end, how can an alliance between Texas A&M and Mexican institutions could help to attend those needs? So I will first give the word to Eduardo and then to Carl to try to answer these questions. If you want to show some slides, I could share you the possibility of being host and share the slides with me. So Eduardo, go ahead.
Thank you. I will be short. We didn't have prepare any slides, but if it is necessary, we can share some images with you. And just recently, we were discussing Abigail and May. We were discussing about some of the advances in terms of the knowledge, the dynamics of sargassum. As you know, there are several new papers, new outputs coming from different research groups, and they are mostly tending the scale of the central tropical Atlantic, or maybe even the Caribbean Sea. We are not working directly on developing any model for forecasting the sargassum movement. However, we are working with different groups that are trying to improve the existing technology or the existing numerical models to better forecast the sargassum. Mostly we are working at Mexican Caribbean Sea or West Caribbean level. And in this case, remote sensing is usually in different analysis. Remote sensing is the kind of part of the basis to initialize the particles movement and all over the study area. And then the remote sensing data also are helpful for validating the numerical models. What we have been discussing, or what we have been postulating or summarizing is that at a regional level, at large scale, the forecasting, there are very good improvements in the numerical models that they are using. Maybe you have read some of the last papers, like there is one that is a preprint for NEMO SARG version 1.0 that is being evaluated, but now there are groups that are proposing the adaptation of some existing models, numerical models, for better forecasting the sargassum movement. So there are a lot of groups working on that part. What we think that could be a key and strategic area of opportunities at regional or local levels is to acquire oceanographic data that it is not available for other scales. For example, we were just watching a presentation about some forecasting models for Belize. So they already have several measurements, different measurements all over their shoreline, they already have a very local and own model. Consider the local oceanographic conditions. In terms of the Mexican Caribbean, that is something that it has been argued that is necessary. It's not cheap, but the technical capabilities are available. In Mexico, there are different groups. We know many of them collaborate with other groups in Texas A&M. Particularly, we know that there is some collaborations going on. But we would suggest to look at the local oceanographic conditions. For instance, we don't know there is a large gap in terms of defining the coastal and oceanic region in the Mexican Caribbean. It seems like it is very easy, but there is not precise measurements explaining or describing when is that different, what is that threshold between the coastal and oceanic behavior of the water mass in the Pacific. So that is part of the challenges that we think that we could be attending together, at least for the Mexican Caribbean. And I would stop there and let's give you back the microphone.
Thank you, Eduardo. So it's interesting to know that Belize it's way forward Mexican Caribbean, and also this question about what is the threshold between oceanic and coastal, which I start thinking in oceanic waters. So I guess it's an important ecosystem, but in coastal areas it's not. But where is this threshold? Where we can start saying it's invading coastal areas. So I think it's a very interesting question, and the way of having these very precise and local models, it's super important for attending communities and ecosystem. So, Carl, I give you the word for these questions, but also if you want to add something more on your experience or on Eduardo, and the same if you want to show some slides, just ask me and I will make you the meeting. You are in mute.
I still forget to unmute myself all the time. But thank you. So I think Eduardo gave a very nice summary of the activities, and obviously over the last, I would say, 10 years, there have been a lot of activities in remote sensing, and going back to I think to the early 2000s when Tom Linton and Robert Webster started their seas forecasting model, which was very simple, and so it basically used Landsat images to identify sargassum visually, and then marking it, and then using current information from the open access websites that provide current information and wind data, and then predicting a trajectory and then posting that on the website, and that model, or that kind of website actually got pretty popular with people going to the Caribbean on vacation. So they really appreciated the simple tool of having some information about, is there sargassum or might there be sargassum in the next few days? A very simple forecasting system, I would say, that is still actually, so I've been revising it a little bit and trying to bring it back online, because we still get a lot of requests from tourists, from US tourists actually going down to the Caribbean asking about, can I do my honeymoon there? Is it okay? So, but the newer models now and NOAA now with University of South Florida, they have been putting together weekly reports that have basically expanded on the use of pigment data, retrieved remotely and integrated with some modeling. So there's quite a bit of activity there. I think also that the French government funded some groups in France to perform research on sargassum on all aspects. So we'll probably see a lot of products coming out in the next few years, including remote sensing, so improving of remote sensing models. And so I think we'll see a lot of activity. I think there is also a lot of potential with new sensors available that have better coverage, daily coverage. And so I think we'll see very big improvements in then the integration, as a video artist, that the integration of models with remote sensing data. I think one thing is what I don't see much is the connection between actually detecting it and then coming up with a good biomass estimate. Having a good idea of how much actually do we see, and so connecting the remotely sensed data to actual biomass estimates. I think that's one point that needs to be improved.
Thank you, Carl. So I think with these interventions of Eduardo and Carl, I think we have this general idea of what we know about both sensing and things that we can do. So I think we are ready to go to the table number 2.
But I will have a question though.
Yes, perfect. That's great.
I'm always struggle with very precise models, very scientific driven models versus practical models and application models. And it is my understanding from what I've seen and what I know that the CIS model, or it's simple, and the beauty of this is the simplicity. And so is there a space, is there a room for this model in, because as Carl said, the French are developing new models and new applications, and it's Florida International, FIU. Florida is developing also new models, but they're very complicated. Is there room for these models in what we need? And if so, how can they be moved forward? Is there a need to move these models and continue with this? And I think this is not only for Eduardo and Carl, but for a user like Brigitte, that you want to know where they're going to impact your seagrasses, or for products saying where do I want to go and collect the sargassum from.